They say that 5 years can change a lot, but today we're going to be talking about this in terms of your journey into being a property investor. So what we're going to be sharing today is what a day in the life looks like for you in 2020 compared to a day in the life for you now in 2025. And I think this is going to be a really inspiring episode because it's going to show people the journey and also showcase the work that has been put in over the years in order to now get to where you are with your businesses.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So my name is Alice Potter and this is Steve Potter. Welcome to the Property Legacy Podcast. We are here every fortnight to give you education and insight into the property world. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about Steve and his journey and people that he has worked with. And if you're somebody that is watching this, potentially looking at working with Steve on the coaching side of things, this is a really good insight into his experience and how things have drastically changed for him over the last 5 years. So, where should we begin?
Wow.
This chair's squeaking.
So is this going to be you interviewing me?
Yeah, I'll interview you.
Okay.
So, obviously, you got into property in 2019.
Yes.
So, what was the first process of that?
Well, the reason why I got into property, I kind of stayed clear of it. My parents and my uncle had been doing property since the 90s. For my uncle, my parents were like 2000 when they retired. And because I was an electrician, I helped look after some of the properties and helped, did a couple of kitchens, did a couple of bits of renovations. But I never really believed the hype of having multiple mortgages was a good thing. Mm-hmm. I believed there wasn't enough money, and I believed that I had to work hard at my job and have a career and do all of that we get taught at school. So I got to 2019, and I'm in my late 40s, and it came to the point where, you needed a house, and Grandma couldn't get a mortgage for her age, and that, which is daft because now she can. But at the time we didn't know how to do that, so I bought that first house, and it was strange because at the time financially I didn't have any money. Financially they wouldn't let me. I'd had bad credit after a divorce, and they wouldn't allow me to have a mortgage, but they would allow me to have a buy-to-let mortgage. Mm-hmm. So it's strange. So
I think the universe aligned with that one though, because there was a reason, for whatever reason, that she wasn't allowed that mortgage at that time, which then presented an opportunity for you. Mm. And if that had not happened, then your entire last 5 years of your life might have not have happened.
Exactly. Mm. And that's the crazy thing, that everything that lines up for the right reasons at the right time.
Yes.
It might sound a bit woo-woo to certain people, but eventually, after seeing all these things happen, you kind of believe it. Mm-hmm. So I still didn't have any money for a deposit. Mm-hmm. So an investor gave me the money for the deposit, and then I got a mortgage for the rest. So it cost me £800 to get the house. That investor still owns part of the property, and it's still being rented out and still being sorted out. You've been living there for quite some time now.
Yeah.
And that was the first step. I then looked at how the financial science worked out, and by the time you paid all the bills and that you need to pay, the insurance and all that kind of stuff, pay the mortgage, there isn't always a great deal at the end, and also you have to pay tax, because I bought it in my own name. I didn't know any different. Mm-hmm. My mum and dad bought all theirs in their own name. Andy bought all his in his own name, my uncle, because that was the advice at the time, and I didn't know what I now know. So it wasn't as profitable as I thought. But forging ahead as I do, I tend to jump in with both feet and run at it. that was the first of 3 properties in the first 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those was actually the house that me and David live in. Again, we just bought that, and we had a payout. So you remember there was the issue where you could claim for having missold credit cards and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had one of those come back in, and it was enough to be a deposit for the house. It just came at the right time, and that's how we bought that house.
Mm-hmm.
And a month after we got the keys, the whole world was locked down.
Yeah.
So we had a bigger house to live in. We had a project to work on during COVID, and all that kind of stuff. Just kind of, like I said, the universe kind of set it all up.
So let's think about 2020, this time 5 years ago.
Yeah.
What was your routine with maybe just under a year of being in property? We get locked down. What does the normal day look like for you?
Well, at the time, obviously, at the very beginning of lockdown, nobody could do anything for the first 3 months, and I couldn't. The work had kind of sent everybody home, so we were trying to do some meetings on Zoom, because that was a new thing, and crazy things are happening. It's like I actually ended up on a Zoom call whilst in the hot tub, and yeah, Teams calls and things like that. And obviously not with the camera on, but somebody did ask what was the water in the background. But no, it was all about trying to do some work, because at the time I worked for Sellafield, and after the first 3 months lockdown, we were allowed to go back after a period of time, because we were, what did they call it? Not a key worker, but an essential worker.
Yeah.
So when everybody's locked down, I was still able to drive up and down from Blackpool to Cumbria, do everything there. I had a little letter to show any police that pulled me over. Nobody did.
No.
And it was just that. It's kind of a bit of a letdown, because I wanted to go, look, I can do this. But it was also giving me lots of time to think and look at different ways of learning. We did have a project where we were renovating a property, so it meant that contractors could actually go and work, and you could go and buy things. So we, myself and Paul at the time, jumped on that. We both worked on that property together, and it's in that bubble type scenario, and we just renovated a house top to bottom in most of COVID, and then obviously go to work in Sellafield. But I was working, I think it was like 3 on, 4 off, so it was full time. I did a full week's work in 3 days. But it then gave me the time to go and do other things, and that's where I met the landlords. That's when we did the renovations. So a day in the life in 2020 was a lot about learning about things that I had no idea about. It was working on properties that I enjoyed doing with somebody I enjoyed working with, and travelling up and down the country, and still going. We still had to go to Rosyth, and we still here, there, and everywhere. For work reasons, we were allowed to do it because we were in the essential workers in the nuclear industry. Mm-hmm. So it was a bit full on, but all I can remember from that year was it was really, really sunny, warm,
yes,
brilliant weather.
It was gorgeous weather in lockdown.
Yeah, we've not had anything like it since.
No.
But yeah, it was a time where from the property point of view. Yeah, we had a property to renovate, and that we were working on. But I was a sole trader at the time. I didn't have a company, so we were kind of building that going forwards. And it was just a time of change. Mm-hmm. I suppose at some levels, at the time of realizing that life can change overnight.
Yeah, I think COVID put a lot into perspective for so many people.
Yeah, and if you need to do something, you need to do it now.
Yeah.
Because one, you could get locked down again. Two, you could die from some bug that comes around you can't see, or you could have an accident, or you could get cancer. There's so many reasons why you might not see tomorrow that you may as well do everything you can today.
Yeah.
And you can only do stuff today. You can't say, oh well, when I have this amount of money, I'll go and do this, or when I have this, I'll go and do this, because you'll never get it.
No.
And that's the big thing from 2020 that I learned, that you just got to go for it. And if it's meant to work, it'll work. If it's not, don't worry about it.
So, fast forward to now, 2025, springtime, the sun is actually coming out.
It is.
Locker.
It's 13 degrees in Blackpool today.
Yeah.
Sunny. We're inside in our studio.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Not quite got those priorities quite right, but
No, but what does today look like for you?
So if you look at today, so every single day now for nearly 500 days, I've got up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And I did that today, got up at 5 o'clock in the morning, had some water, a cup of coffee, worked on my mental health and worked on a little bit of yoga to keep flexible, because I am in my 50s and I've got arthritis in both knees and all these kind of things are troubling me, but I don't let it affect me. And then I worked this morning. I was working on a press release that I was talking to you about earlier, looking at what I'd sold over the weekend, overnight even. We've got funnels out there, we've got marketing out there, and things are coming in on a regular basis. So it was all about working on things that was to move our companies forwards, to move us forwards. Did some prep work for this, which is, only the second time ever we've done prep work. You usually just go, oh, we'll do this, and just crack on with it. Mm-hmm. So that was all that. We did that until 7 o'clock, and then had breakfast with Debbie and had some coffee and relaxed for an hour. She then went off to do her work, and I basically just got everything together and came, picked you up, and now we're doing the podcast filming. Mm-hmm. This afternoon, I've got a 1 o'clock meeting, a 2 o'clock meeting, and then there's a gap where I'm going to be catching up on the website stuff that you asked me to look at, and look at some social media ready for tomorrow. And then this evening at 7 o'clock, we've got our Q&A session. And that's roughly about it. It's not full on all day.
No.
It's kind of, there's set times to do certain types of work.
Yeah.
And I fill that area with work. But then all the rest of the time, it's either time with family or time with Debbie and relaxing.
Amazing.
And that's basically it. Property's allowed me to kind of work with who I want, when I want, or do nothing if I want. Mm-hmm. And that's the good thing. It's like a week on Friday, on the 4th of April, I'm back playing golf again, which is great. Which is, I want to kind of practice more this year and make a big thing over it. So I will be doing that more often this year.
Yeah.
But today, today, even though we're setting up for this, and I realised I left the microphones at home. Right? So moving stuff around at home, moving the office, packed it away, not put it in the correct bag. So it meant I had to go and get it. But now I don't have that stress. I don't have stress. So I got in the car, put a podcast on, and it's a lovely sunny day. Drove home. Just happens that Lizzie was there with Jackson, and I could with Jackson, our grandson, one of many, got a few. So that was really nice. And then drive back in a nice sunny day, nice and quiet and easy. It doesn't stress me out, things these days, so that's the best way to work.
Yeah, definitely. I think when you're not under the stress of working under somebody else as well and following that routine, it can be really scary when you're in your own business, especially if you're trying to spin all the plates and you're not knowing when things are coming in. But I feel like you're at this flow state now which is nice. It's relaxing. It's
Yeah.
but you're very calm, which is good.
Yeah, it is good. I'm still not very good at answering emails. It does wind people up that I have 100 emails not answered. But I look at it and think, well, if it's really important, they'll ring me,
Yeah.
or they'll send me another email.
Yeah.
And it's there's no real reason to worry about small stuff,
No.
and just worry about doing what I want to do and doing it the way I want.
Definitely.
And it's working. It's going forward.
So if you were to give someone some advice that's potentially in your position currently now, where they're looking for education or just starting education and juggling it around a full-time job and a family and all those things, what is the advice that you would give them?
Well, everybody says, or everybody talks about, yeah, they would love to get into property, but they haven't got enough time. And time, we all have 24 hours a day. And it's just how well you use your time. And like I said, I started getting up an hour or so earlier. I go to bed earlier, so I still get 8 hours of night sleep. It just means that I then get a lot of work done before 7 o'clock in the morning. There's no interruptions, no phone calls, no nothing else, no distractions. So I think anybody could change their life to give them an hour a day, or even half an hour. Because over a year, an hour will give you 365 hours. And that is just what you need to start that momentum. Because once you start taking action and doing something, you then create momentum. Because that's what action actually creates momentum. So it pushes you forwards. And then you're thinking, well, actually, if I do this a little bit more, then I do it. And it starts slowly but surely taking over your life. But I did it, like I said, I was working 13.5-hour shifts. I still found time to do that. So we sit down for lunch, you can watch a podcast, or you can watch a video, or you can read something, or you can make some phone calls. All these things you can do in your lunchtime, or after work, or after you pick the kids up, or at some point you will be able to find half an hour or an hour in a day.
Yeah, one of my biggest struggles when people talk about time is asking them how much screen time they have on their phones.
Yes. Yeah.
So a lot of the time we consume more than we're actually creating. And it's an issue that a lot of business owners have, and the procrastination and the spending too much time looking at what everybody else is doing and not actually moving the needle forward for yourself. And we're all guilty of it. I'm guilty of it. I was deep cleaning my bathroom last night, and I disassociated, sat on the bathroom floor for 40 minutes watching TikTok, and it was like almost 10 o'clock at night at that point, and I was like maybe about 60-70% done with the bathroom, but I was just like, oh, my brain, no, I need to procrastinate right now. So it's I think building those things into your routine and setting those kind of little triggers for yourself and being like, right, I've been on my phone for half an hour, what have I actually achieved from being on it? Absolutely nothing.
This is it. And look at your phone, because there is somewhere on your phone that tells you how much screen time you've had in a day or a week. And you look at it going, oh my God, I've been on this phone for 19 hours this week. I could have done, even if you cut that down by half.
Yeah.
Because let's face it.
Some of it is work stuff, but still.
Yeah, cut it down by half. You don't always have to sit there and watch a Netflix film at night, or binge something until 11 o'clock at night.
No.
You can structure and still have time for Netflix. You still have time for the TikToks and all that. I don't. I just don't get what anybody gets out of scrolling. But, so that's just me. And, spend some of that time doing something that will move you forward.
Yeah.
Because it's very easy to get locked in. That's why I don't care about my emails. Because if you get locked into that routine of clearing all your emails every day, it takes 3 or 4 hours sometimes. You get thousands of emails.
Yeah.
And that's your day gone. And especially in the morning, I always advise people, don't open your emails until 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and you give it an hour. Because if you answer it 9 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you're still answering that day.
Yeah.
And in any kind of business, there isn't a desperate need to answer immediately.
Yeah.
But I think that we all feel that we have to, and we definitely don't have to. So if you want to be in property, get your education first. That's something that even if you try it, even if you fail, even if the whole world goes up and we end up in a war, nobody can actually take your education away from you. It's in your head. So that's an investment in yourself. Second of all, because none of that stuff that I was just talking about will ever happen, or 98% of the time won't happen, work towards buying your first property. Find that deal, get some advice, get some coaching even to help you analyze those deals and get some feedback from people. Because it's the deal that'll actually attract an investor or the finance people. You get the deal right and you can then go and finance it. It's not a problem. You will find people. So concentrate on finding a deal that you want to do and then move forward and do it. Stop waiting for the perfect no money down deal that I have had people talk to me about many times. And I go, oh, we can't possibly take that deal because we leave a fiver in, or we leave £1,000 in, or we leave £5,000 in. And you think to yourself, well, hold on, this property is going to bring you 10,000 in 12 months, so it will pay you back within 6 months. So what's the issue? Why hold out for this unicorn of a deal that will get all your money out immediately you do the deal? And it's, yeah, you can find that, but the longer you keep any property, even if it's a bad deal, even if you overpay this time and you learn about it, the next time you'll be better. But if you keep that property for 10 years, it'll double in value and it's gone anyhow. Mm-hmm. So education first, then take action, and keep taking action every day. And there will be ups and downs. There will be times where you don't know where the next bit of money is coming from. You got to pay the bills, and you struggle. You know, hands up, I jumped from my job to working, retiring too early. I should have left it another 12 months. But, that's hindsight. But I'm still here. I'm still going. We
love a little bit of risk.
We're going from strength to strength, and this is what we do. Mm-hmm. You take that risk, and as long as you don't fall flat on your face and die, you never fail. You just keep going and going and going.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much.
So thank you for joining us today. It felt very all about me, which isn't too much of a problem. I quite like that these days. I used to be very introvert. I'm getting a bit more extrovert now. But so thank you for joining us. If you'd like to subscribe and select that bell so that you get notified whenever we send new videos or shorts, because shorts are doing really well. Mm-hmm. And do that. Make sure you do that so that you know where we are, and we're going to let you know when we've got new stuff. We're on YouTube, we're on Spotify and Apple Podcast. But if you need to know any more about us, come and join us on our Property Legacy Podcast.co.uk website, and there you can find other episodes. You can look at any courses we run, or even contact us and have a meeting with me to have a quick discussion about your plans and what you want to do. That's free. It's easy for you to do. But for now, we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.